Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de credit card that I've got with American Express because, I don't know, generally I think they've got a solid reputation and your mileage may vary, of course. Hey, XenPuck here. So last time, aka the first time I talked about my personal credit cards, well, it turned out I didn't have either of those cards anymore. So that was a bit of a fake out, wasn't it? So I figured this time I'd go over all the Amex cards that I currently have and potentially even use. Okay, see the distinction there? Just because I keep a card does not actually mean that I use it often or even every month. And strangely, I think my amex collection of cards will illustrate that quite well. Accidentally, right? I was trying to determine how to organize talking about the rest of my credit card collection, and I've settled on by issuer, since I do have multiple cards with most banks, or in this case, Amex, who is basically practically a bank in itself. I do have 3 current cards with Amex, and they are all definitely a little different from each other, right? And all of these I can swear I won't be getting rid of anytime soon, so should current trend hold, of course. So, if you're intrigued by what I might say, please subscribe, like, comment, share, all that social media buzzword nonsense, or whatever, because I'm rich enough for me, and I will be great regardless. Alright, so the oldest Amex card that I've got currently is actually the Amex Blue Cash Everyday card, right? This is the no annual fee cashback credit, not charge card that Amex offers. I actually quite like the transparent design of the card itself, which is what it looked like when I got it more than 20 years ago, I think. But I do believe they have gone and changed it, so whenever my renewal card comes in the next year or two, I'll be getting one of the new ugly blue ones. I don't know, maybe I will get the new physical card and love it? It's possible. I'm just saying that I don't love the image that I see on the internet of the new design right now, okay? Anyway, this thing was actually literally relegated to being in my office drawer because its only claim to fame was 3% cashback on groceries, which is fine, but definitely outclassed by quite a number of my other credit card, non-Amex ones though. There is a version of this card that requires an annual fee, I think $95, that gets 6% on groceries, but frankly that means that I'll have to do math to figure out how much minimum I need to spend per year, really, just to justify the annual fee. And yeah, I'm way too lazy to do that, okay? The surprising thing about this card is Amex did just revamp it with a random Disney bundle bonus that makes buying a Disney bundle streaming service quite a significant percentage-wise cheaper. So sure, I like taking advantage of unforeseen perks, especially on a card that has no annual fee, so I did move that very specific streaming cost to this card. Now I don't even have to worry about inactivity on it. This is the only of my credit card that has got a very long history at this point, so I will definitely keep it around forever, right? Unlike that Amex screen that I mentioned on my last video. Next up is the big boy, the Amex Platinum. Mine is the Charles Schwab version of this, right? I think this thing, this particular card looks badass, but it does come with a almost $700 annual fee, okay? That is pretty much as high as it gets until you get to the very, very rare type of cards like Amex Centurions, right? So the main question for most people is, can you get $700 worth of value out of this card every year? Because that amount is not quite trivial for an item that can easily be had without any annual fees at all, right? And for me, by my own calculations, I get a little bit more than $1,000 worth of value out of this card every year because it has like many perks. So yeah, basically for me, Amex is paying me $300. That's the difference between the annual fee and my value, right? To keep this card every year. So it is totally worth it, right? Though I need to mention that 200 out of this 300 extra value derives from the fact that I have the Charles Schwab version, which gives me a cash customer appreciation bonus. So, but that only happens so long as I have a sizable portfolio with the brokerage. So yeah, that bit is tricky and only applicable to people who already have a bit of money to begin with, right? Again, works well for me since I like Schwab, was already using them anyway, but I've just spent a lot of time talking about justifying the annual fee. Do I actually use this card though? The answer is actually relatively rarely, right? Because its earning categories are mostly best for travel, and that is what I use it for, right? You know, sometimes airplane tickets, sometimes hotels. I do carry it around with me most of the time, but I think that's mostly because of vanity, because it looks cool. And maybe occasionally I need to show it for lounge access. So I do use it, but it is not by my daily driver by any means. I will likely keep this one forever so long as I'm getting this significant positive value in terms of the perks versus annual fee battle. And the last Amex card that I got was actually a Hilton Honors Aspire card, which I have product change to a regular Hilton Honors Amex card. Basically, I got the Hilton Honors Aspire version of the card that came with a pretty hefty annual fee, mostly for the sign-up bonus. I think it was like 300,000 Hilton points or something like that. I got the sign-up bonus, didn't really feel the need to pay the annual fee anymore, so I downgraded it to a regular Hilton Honors Amex card for no annual fee. I could have canceled this card outright, but why? It doesn't hurt me at all to keep it around for long-term credit history building. Frankly, this Hilton Honors card serves as the perfect example of what I call, a drawer card, right? I think I actually stole that from Ask Sebi, by the way, that term. I currently have no recurring costs on this card, and my only common usage of it is at Hilton properties, right? But I'm not really much of a brand loyalist, right? I got this card when I was single, thinking, sure, maybe I will become a Hilton loyalist because, I didn't have any extensive history with other hotel brands. But now I'm part of a couple, and my wife has some amazing lifetime, fancy, elite relationship with one of Hilton's direct competitors, so that's great. I'll just lean on her when we book hotels and stuff most of the time, right? Plus these days, Airbnb is also a big alternative when we're feeling a bit bolder, so Hilton cards' only purpose is really just continue to exist, right? Because I don't need to cancel it. I see no scenario where I would actually take this card with me, though, in my wallet, unless I happen to be staying at a Hilton specifically. So, in conclusion, I have 3 Amex cards, and I only really carry the Amex Platinum with me for the sake of how it looks, okay? Realistically, I could probably even keep my Amex Platinum in a drawer until I'm about to travel, right? At least domestically, right? The elephant in the room, of course, with Amex cards is that they're not like super accepted everywhere in the world, right? So if I was doing extensive international travel, I would take my Amex Platinum with me for the lounge access, depending on the airport. But I would definitely also carry a Visa or MasterCard for actual spending purposes, right? Now, maybe one day I will do a more detailed breakdown of how I actually value the many Amex Platinum perks, because I just said I get $1,000 of value out of it, right? And sometimes before I did that calculation, I was surprised that I was getting that much value out of it. But one thing at a time, right? How about you guys? On the Amex side, on that bandwagon, do you guys use them? Do you guys like them? Or are you guys sticking with Visa or MasterCard because it's just easier? Do let me know in the comments below. Cheers. À la prochaine.